What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com. Here are my DFS picks for NBA Tuesday, October 6th. These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our new videos. In this video, I'm going to go over my top picks for today's NBA slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay guys, NBA playoffs. Let's take a look at this NBA showdown between the LA Lakers and the Miami Heat. So I'm going to start off by going over the studs on this slate and just keep an eye on Bam Adebayo. He's questionable for this game, so he could play here tonight. If he does play, I think he's a start because his salary's come down now and he can still put up 40 fantasy points. So first, let's get into these studs. So I like LeBron James from the LA Lakers playing the Miami Heat. LeBron James has averaged 51.3 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 35 minutes per game with a 32% usage rate. He's going to be about 91% owned here tonight. He scored 47, 63, and 55 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 39, 39, and 36 minutes. He's projected at 56 fantasy points here tonight. So I like LeBron James here versus the Miami Heat. The next stud on the slate is Anthony Davis from the LA Lakers. He's averaged 50.9 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 34 minutes per game with a 29% usage rate. He's going to be about 96% owned, and he scored 27, 50, and 60 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 32, 39, and 38 minutes. He's projected at 52.6 fantasy points here tonight, so I like Anthony Davis here versus the Miami Heat. And the next stud on the slate, what a game he had last game. It's Jimmy Butler from the Miami Heat. He's averaged 41.8 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 34 minutes per game with a 25% usage rate. He's going to be about 71% owned, but I don't doubt if that ownership comes up after last game. He scored 80, 54, and 37 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 44, 44, and 33 minutes. He's projected at 47 fantasy points here tonight, so I like Jimmy Butler here versus the LA Lakers. Okay, so we mentioned that Bam Adebayo is questionable, so keep an eye out, guys. If he plays this game, I'm playing Bam Adebayo. And if he plays, make sure not to play Kelly Olynyk. Those minutes will be gone. So let's move on here. Let's get into some of these value plays. So I like Rajon Rondo from the LA Lakers. He's averaged 18.9 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 21 minutes per game with a 19% usage rate. He's going to be about 21% owned, and he scored 25, 35, and 16 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 27, 26, and 24 minutes. He's projected at 25 fantasy points here tonight, so I like Rajon Rondo here versus the Miami Heat. And then we have Jay Crowder from the Miami Heat. He's averaging 24.7 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 29 minutes per game with a 16% usage rate. He's going to be about 26% owned. He scored 22, 23, and 20 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 33, 28, and 24 minutes. You can see that he's underperforming his season average, so I'm expecting a breakout game to come soon. He's projected at 23 fantasy points here tonight, so I like Jay Crowder here versus the LA Lakers. Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all of our DFS tools for all sports. You can try the Position Optimizer, where you can see the top players ranked for each position. And we added a new Player Trends tool, where you can see the top salary differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. It's a really good tool to help you pick out value for the site that you're playing on. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups. Okay, in this next pick, it's a dart throw pick, kind of, but he's such low salary that it's gonna help build a unique lineup, and he had a good game last game. So I like Kyle Kuzma from the LA Lakers. He's averaged 21.3 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 25 minutes per game with a 23% usage rate. He's only going to be about 2 to 5 to 10% owned. Not really exactly sure on the ownership here because he had a good game last game, but he's been pretty bad outside that game. He scored 22, 12, and 18 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 22, 21, and 22 minutes. He's projected at 18.5 fantasy points here tonight, but I think his low salary makes him an option to make your lineup different and to help you fit in some of those studs. So I like Kyle Kuzma here versus the Miami Heat. Okay, and this next pick is only if Bam Adebayo misses this game. I like Kelly Olynyk from the Miami Heat, who averaged 18.2 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 19 minutes per game with an 18% usage rate. He's going to be about 53% owned, and he scored 33, 36, and 21 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 31, 37, and 18 minutes. So you can see his minutes and his production are way up without Bam Adebayo in the lineup. So if Bam does not play here tonight, he's projected at 24.5 fantasy points here tonight. If Bam does play, I wouldn't play Kelly Olynyk. He's not going to get enough minutes to make his value. But if Bam doesn't play, I like Kelly Olynyk here versus the LA Lakers. Okay, and then I like Tyler Hero from the Miami Heat, and he's averaged 22.5 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 27 minutes per game with a 23% usage rate. He's going to be about 37% owned. He scored 26, 28, and 21 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 36, 42, and 30 minutes. So there's no Goran Dragic tonight. So that means Tyler Hero is going to get all the minutes he can handle. He's projected at 28 fantasy points here tonight. So I like Tyler Hero here versus the LA Lakers. This is another guy who had a fantastic game last game. So he's heating up and he's still low salary. I like Duncan Robinson from the Miami Heat. He's averaging 20.6 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 30 minutes per game with a 16% usage rate. He's going to be about 9% owned, but you can bump that up to 15% owned because of his last game performance. And he scored 33, 18, and 5 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 39, 21, and 27 minutes. So you can see that this is kind of a hit or miss pick here. It's not a safe pick. It's a hit or miss. He's either going to be hot, knocking down his threes, and he could get you 25 plus, or he's going to go cold and he'll get you 5 to 10 fantasy points. So he's projected at 20 fantasy points here tonight. So I like Duncan Robinson here versus the LA Lakers. And then I like Alex Caruso from the LA Lakers. He's averaged 14 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 18 minutes per game with a 14% usage rate. He's going to be about 16% owned. He scored 15, 12, and 20 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 26, 23, and 21 minutes. So the minutes are there for him to hit value because he's low salary. He's projected at 18 fantasy points here tonight. So I like Alex Caruso here versus the Miami Heat. And this guy's salary has come up a little bit, but he's still playing heavy minutes. He can put up some good numbers here. So I like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope from the LA Lakers. He's averaged 16.4 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 26 minutes per game with a 15% usage rate. He's only going to be about 4% owned, so this is one of those players to help you make your lineup different. He scored 13, 25, and 23 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 29, 31, and 30 minutes. He's projected at 21 fantasy points here tonight, so I like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope here versus the Miami Heat. If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NBA slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.